I'd say that it makes us all more powerful, or like it brings strength. Like if you look back to nature in that sense, that it makes the whole system more resilient.
It's interesting and it's inspiring. I think we learn a lot from each other. If societies are stuck long enough in their own way of thinking and in their own way of doing things and in their own vision of life, sooner or later the battery is down. It's people are not getting the answers anymore that they need, and then we get inspired by the examples we see somewhere else.
Creativity, growth, and collaboration. I know those are two things, but I think those are both essential. So through diversity, each one of the members being part of the diverse group, ideally everybody can learn a lot from each other.
To experience new cultures and other people's traditions.
Broader learning, broader perspective, creativity, innovation, so many things.
It just brings in really different kinds of components, different kinds of colors, just different kinds of views, different kinds of backgrounds. It really broadens your perspectives and just improves your understanding of the world.
It opens our thoughts, our mind, and it helps us to see the world in a completely different way. At times we all have this narrow way of thinking. I kind of have a very narrow way of thinking. Now, moving abroad, living in Ireland, coming to the Netherlands, I could say my perspective, the way I think, the way I see things, is more broad and it's more open.
Absolutely relevant. Basically, because I think many people are a bit afraid of it. That's the issue. I think we've become so self-absorbed, maybe, or convinced of our own truths, that we forgot to reflect on our own thinking. We don't really think about where we get our norms and our values from. If you don't know yourself, then you grow scared of someone else.
It's really important topic to talk about, as some people are not that open-minded and judge the different, calling him or her bad names only because this person is not like you.
I think it's hard for people to talk about it because many people in the Netherlands think it is not that hard as you would say it is, because we don't witness it. I never experienced discrimination, so I don't know how it is. So if somebody says I'm discriminated, then I believe him or her, and I think it really is hard and it really is extreme. But if you don't know anything about it and you just have to believe somebody, and somebody says yes, I'm discriminated, and you don't have any idea about what it is, then it's really hard to understand what the person is going through.
And it needs to be talked more about overall. And that's why I think also all these movements of Black Lives Matter, for example, they're so important, because we do think we have already heard about diversity and that we need to be diverse. And the theory we have quite clear, but this kind of movements really point out again a big issue, especially to the privileged people, just like me, for example.
What I sometimes find a bit difficult, sometimes it feels as if it's like painting a picture, and then if the picture is diverse enough in terms of gender, in terms of skin color, in terms of maybe some other features on which we very visibly can be different, then we are suddenly being diverse. Whereas I really believe that it's much more about the inside than about the outside of what we are.
Every time being unique is always advantageous, I think. Not that then I am trying to be different, but I think if I am different from other people, then I'm always adding value.
If you think for yourself, I think that's the main advantage. If you've learned to think for yourself, to not take things for granted, and to not follow along with a group that you're a part of.
I think it's for sure an advantage, because often I see different solutions to the problems than the people around me. And in one moment when I come from other place, from my other cultural background, and I just have a kind of totally different view on the things.
Imagine there are 10 students in the class and you are the only one who is maybe come from a different cultural background. Automatically, you have some kind of attention or some spotlights. It could be positive, and at times it could also be negative. So it depends on what side you're lucky to be in.
You can understand people better if you have been different from others yourself.
I always thought that was an advantage, because when you don't think that being different is okay, when you're like, all right, I'm different, that's bad, then you won't be able to develop yourself as the person you want to become.
Yes, I think it's beneficial that you can meet all kind of people in the campus, to have the opportunity to talk with people from different nationalities about what their culture is, or learn something from a person who has a much different life experience than you.
Yeah, the biggest I can think of, it's you learn about different countries, or different, I don't know, how people in different age or a different gender deals with the things you deal.
Yes, more students will feel more at home when you see people like you walking around, and you feel, oh, okay, I'm included.
It depends on how you define it. I think in Almere the campus is diverse as it is, just because there is a lot of different people with different backgrounds living in Almere, but it just happens. I don't know, it's just the way it is.
I think there are. In our region and with our local government and with the work field, we shape and create our society. And I think we need diversity to create it.
Yes, I think like with diversity, you can see about religion and skin color, but also about your sexual preferences, but also different courses, because people who study social work have a completely different view about a problem with somebody than somebody who studies nursing. And when you combine these two, you see like with the different views, you eventually have the best solution for your patients.
Definitely, you can learn so much from diverse people. Yeah, I always had Dutch friends, and then I got German friends, Spanish friends. It was so much fun to learn from every culture. Like, I don't know, it's so enhancing your knowledge.
Yeah, I do, and I hope everybody does who works here or studies here.
So absolutely, I feel very much valid as an individual person, mainly through this kind of personal care that Windesheim gives. Not only with like having a career counselor or career counselors that support you, but also all the lecturers, staff, and other students. Just some random messages, cheering each other up and motivating each other. And I think that goes not only for this corona crisis, but overall.
No, I say it really harsh, because my experience last year, I didn't always felt that they understand what we as students were going through.
I think on a broader scheme, so just looking at the Windesheim University in general, not as much, but I also don't expect that from a university that has so many students. So as long as within my program, within my sphere, I am seen as a person.
Yes and no, but like that's difficult for them. And right now in this time like COVID, like we're all sitting behind the screen, and I think when you have normal lessons and you see your teacher almost every week, a couple of times, I think the value will go a lot better. But right now it's at a low point, but that's of course also because of COVID, and it's difficult to do something about it.
I would also split that in the sense that at Windesheim in general, maybe not that much, or at least like I don't really get the feeling of being appreciated in that sense, but like within our program, definitely, yes. But yeah, in terms of Windesheim, I think it's also pretty hard to, because there are so many students, to give each of them like the feeling that they are appreciated, but like maybe that's then something that the programs can do. And within our program, I would definitely say that, they make you feel welcome and appreciated.
There are elevators, for example, for students who use a wheelchair. There are a lot of programs for students who have troubles with studying and studying and being at school and all those kind of stuff. And I think that we can really appreciate that. But I don't think that, although all those things are there and all the help that you need is there, you can't see it. So a lot of students don't know all the options that they have.
Yeah, I think it is. I think maybe sometimes Windesheim falls a bit short for people maybe with mental health problems and are struggling that in their studies. But then again, I do enjoy being there, yeah.
Well, if you're disabled, you cannot go like in 3 seconds go from the first floor to the 6th floor.
I don't think it's accessible for everyone because it's very expensive. And also for people studying abroad, you have to travel all the way, and your stuff, you need to buy stuff or move it. It's also very expensive.
People, students and teachers, they should feel psychologically safe. That's one aspect of an inclusive organization. And that means that you can be whatever you want, that you can say whatever, if you have the feeling that you can say whatever you want, that you really feel at home at an organization or in a team.
If you're not able to speak Dutch, it can be pretty hard to communicate properly, because I feel like Windesheim is mostly focused on Dutch speaking people in that sense.
I think so. We've had a nice, interesting case perhaps to mention. A couple of years ago, we received an exchange student from Barcelona. This girl was or is restricted in her movements because she has a very severe skin condition, which also prevents her from walking and which requires her to be in a very protected environment in a way. She dreamt of coming to the Netherlands to study abroad, and we were able to make it happen. We found out that the campus at least was very well accessible for her. So I think we proved in that particular context that we can do that.